Alrighty. So let's see here. Turn this screen around. There we go. All right, looks pretty good. We are live on YouTube.
Oh, we are live now?
Yep, we are live right now. Get you plugged in.
Plug me in.
Yes, sir.
Big Poppy.
All right, what's up there, YouTube friends, Beer and Sunshine friends? Of course, me, Tommy Thompson, and this is JW from Brew SRQ. If you watch our show, the Beer and Sunshine show, that shoots every Tuesday live on Facebook out of Big Top Brewing Company here in Sarasota. You saw an episode featuring brewsrq.com, which is JW's operation here. He's a homebrew supply business, and for the most part, strictly e-commerce. If you're in the Sarasota-Bradenton area, of course, you can come here to pick up your order after placing it online. Otherwise, just place an order online and he ships it right to you. If you're in the state of Florida, that means pretty much next day shipping, regardless of what type of shipping you do. So it's awesome. It's a great business for the home brewer. And what are we going to be brewing today, JW?
Well, we're brewing up a clone of Sierra Nevada's Resilience IPA. That was the recipe that they shared with all the breweries. Over 1,000 breweries in America are brewing this beer to support the victims of the fires out there in Paradise and surrounding areas. So, it's our homage to that. I mean, we obviously we're home brewing, so we can't sell any of this beer and send proceeds to them.
So unfortunately,
in case the TTA is listening,
this is Susie Bennett, by the way. She's part of the team Beer and Sunshine, and she is here strictly to drink all the beer.
That's exactly why
she's our biology support expert. But we are going to be making a donation to a charity out there for relief victims in honor of, since we can't send proceeds.
Susie, can you stand on a bucket so the people can see? I don't think they can see
it. On the brew deck,
just kidding,
which is a pallet.
If I stand up my tiptoes
over here.
She's on her knees. She's very tall. She's super tall.
So are we ready? You guys ready?
Sure,
okay,
sure.
So we've got our strike water is heated. We're good to go. That's telling me we're ready.
And so let's explain the process to people. So this is the first time I've ever brewed a beer. I've never brewed before, even though I've been doing Beer and Sunshine for like almost 3 years now. Susie actually just brewed her first beer.
I did, right? Yes. It's almost ready. It's going to go in bottles soon, as in like this weekend.
Well, then, would you like to be my mash assistant?
Sure.
Tommy.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So what we're going to do here, I've taken the grain, I've milled it.
Okay.
And we're going to add it. I'm going to add small batches. It's very, very important to thoroughly mix the mash in there. It's going to be very loose at first, obviously, if all the water's already in there. It'll get tougher, but big muscly guy like you should be able to rip through it.
What is this device, the Grain Father?
This is the Grain Father. This is an all-in-one electric brewing device. It's a recirculating mash system. It has a pump in it, so it will do our mash for us. It will boil for us, and then we'll be able to cool with it. We have a counterflow chiller that we'll use at the end to cool the wort before we put it into our fermenter.
Okay.
But it's
so
really
it literally
nice.
Does everything?
It does everything. It's connected via Bluetooth to an app that is where I've entered the recipe in, so it remembers all of our mash steps. So it's going to time our mash out perfectly, tell us when to sparge, which is adding water, rinsing the grain bed, which we'll do after an hour.
And this is probably a silly question, but you sell this on your website, right?
Correct, yes. Well, we don't have it up on our website quite yet, but we do have them in stock. They'll be on the website very, very soon.
Awesome. And what does something like this retail for?
This retails for $9.99.98. Okay, and it's an all-in-one deal. This is all you need to produce championship quality wort. This machine is amazing.
And of course, if people, you're getting into home brewing, you don't want to invest $1,000 right off the bat.
You get way cheaper.
He has other versions of this device and things way less expensive.
Yeah, we have the mash and boil, which we use for our sparge water heater today, which is it just doesn't have a pump, but they've also just released a version that has a pump. It's about half the price.
Ah, awesome.
So it doesn't have the all of the Bluetooth connectivity and the recipe building and all that kind of the higher techie stuff with the alarms and all that, but it will get the job done.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So
the grains are cracked, right?
Yes,
you milled them, so the grains are cracked.
Yeah. And they're not, you don't want to mill it too fine. Not too coarse, not too fine.
All right, and then
so you're just gonna.
Should I be mixing?
Yeah, you're just gonna stir it in there. I'm just gonna pour a little bit in, and the idea is you got to get it mixed up real good because it has a tendency to clump and form dough balls.
Kind of like oatmeal, huh?
Yes, which is not good for your efficiency in extracting the maximum amount of sugars from your wort.
And what is the temperature of the water?
The water is, right now, we set it as our strike temperature, which is you add the grain into it, it hits our mash temperature that we set. We're going to be mashing at 152 degrees today, which will give us a good combination of fermentability and also residual sugars, so that it's got a nice balance and the beer's not too dry. Which also accomplished a little bit through the grist bill. And it's a very simple grist bill. It's just pale 2-row, and a bit of Crystal 60.
This guy he loves to use terms that nobody knows what they are. Nobody has any idea
People
what
who
they
brew
are.
beer, and there are hundreds of kinds of malt and grain. Hundreds. You're doing a fantastic job there. You've never done this before?
As I said, this is my first time. Maybe I'm a natural. And I forgot I'm using my bad arm, so this is a good arm here, so. I'm not trying to rest my head on your shoulder, although as I get tired, I may have to.
That's okay. I'm here for you. So yeah, so you can see, it's going to get a little thicker as we get close to the end there.
A little bit.
A little thicker.
And so what do you think of this? What's your opinion of this this recipe? I'm sure, obviously, you looked it over and whatnot, right? So,
well, what do I think? I mean, obviously, I've never tasted it, all that, but it looks awfully similar to the clones I've seen of their of Sierra Nevada's Celebration ale. Of course, they use fresh hops in that, and we're using pelletized hops, all that. But it looks very similar. I assume it'll be delicious. I mean, Sierra Nevada was one of the first craft breweries that really brought me in to American craft beer. As many people. And I don't love all of their beers, but I do love a lot of them, and they've just done so much for the industry.
It's really getting thick now.
Oh yeah.
How thick does this get?
Well, it's going to get. I mean, it's going to be pretty thick. The Grainfather, because it has a certain, just be a little bit careful with it here.
Oh, yeah.
The bottom with that height, because it's pretty crucial for our
so
success.
this thing doesn't mix it itself?
No. I mean, come on, you got to do some of it.
Come on, Grainfather. I thought this thing was
maybe the
just
next
going to do everything.
Like 2000,
So you push a button and just.
I don't know. This is so much nicer than my little spaghetti pot that I was using on the stove.
Well, I mean, look, I started, all extract on a stove top. That was, and then got into steeping grains, and that was like a big thing. Like, whoa, man, we're big timing now. And then I never actually owned an all grain rig until this one. I brewed plenty of all grain on other people's rigs, but I finally had got my own. Okay, I'm gonna dump the rest of this in here.
Smells good.
Yeah, it smells delicious.
Yes.
No wonder that little bird flew in here.
Oh yeah, he's
smell it.
He's just
fan.
probably waiting.
We're very
Susie,
friendly.
Should kill that bird as soon as we turn our back. Just
No
kidding.
way.
Don't kill the bird.
No way.
No. Look, this is not in my no. We don't.
He's gonna
we don't harm
attack us.
anything here.
He's gonna attack us.
He's fine.
I think he's got
All right.
it.
Now it's getting so thick that it's turning the.
Yeah. Well, this to be completely transparent, this is not really a mash paddle. It's more of a boil paddle. But I'm looking for a really killer mash paddle, like that's speaks to me. I might get a custom one made before I make that jump. So it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, pretty well mixed.
Yeah, pretty well mixed there.
Right. And it definitely got really thick. It's definitely thickened up quite a bit.
Yeah, and it's it's a little thicker than you would maybe if you're an all-grain brewer now and you have 3-ton or 3 vessels set up, or you're mashing, doing brew in a bag. It's a little thinner than you might do in a traditional mash setup because there's a pump and you need to be able to recirculate it once you're ready to go. And I think that looks.
There's no whiskey in this coffee.
There isn't. We don't have any whiskey here. This is a beer. This is we're all about beer. I don't know if you want to mix
my
beer.
bad. Sorry.
All right, so the grain.
Its coffee is delicious, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, very good.
On your website, do you sell? So he's big into coffee as well. He's got all sorts of jars of beans and stuff like that. And making a cup of coffee is not a simple thing around here. But do you sell coffee supplies as well, or no?
No, we don't.
You should.
Well, I'm considering it. Nothing is out of out of the realm of possibility. So if you get more into it, it's just kind of a new hobby for me, and I don't want to jump in anything. And
you do make a darn fine cup of Joe.
Well, it's fresh roasted coffee really is, I mean, it could be bad and fresh, and it'll taste better than most commercial stuff that you get, or like the over-roasted stuff. Like, and I'm not trying to hate on Starbucks, because I love a lot of things that Starbucks makes, but you know, they destroy the flavor of a lot of beans just by roasting it so dark.
So what are you adding right now?
So right now, we're just finishing up putting all of the rest of the components together here. So this is the malt pipe. This is going to help us with our recirculation, and we just want to set this down on the surface of the mash.
And what's the screen? What's that screen about that you set in there?
That screen is just to keep the grain bed together while it recirculates, so it doesn't end up, because we want all the sugar out of the grain, but we don't want any of the grain in the boil, because you can extract some astringent flavors from grain husks and things like that. And it's just not good and high quality. So this helps to keep it all together. So we're ready to go. This is a little modification I like to use that I picked up off of a YouTube suggestion. It's a little sink strainer, goes over the top, and it's helps you just to pick up any small bits of grain before they make their way back down, and maybe get in there and clog up the works. So, so we're ready to mash. I'm going to use the lid for this just to retain heat.
Okay.
Got to put our mash pipe up on here. This is going to help with the recirc. Put that on there. Put that on tight. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and then we're ready to go. So we're going to start our mash.
So now, what is it doing exactly?
So now what we're doing is we're into the mashing phase. So we've doughed in. That's called the dough in, or the mash in.
Okay.
So we've got the grains in selected. Now we're mashing. So the grain father is going to circulate with the pump, circulate the mash through for our set time, which is 60 minutes at our set temperature. Holds it perfect, so that's going to allow all the enzymes to convert the sugars properly, so that when we're done mashing and we sparge, which is rinsing the grain, we have the volume of wort that we need with the amount of sugars that we need in the recipe.
So is it
boil.
churning it? Is it pulling liquid up and recirculating?
It's pulling the wort off the bottom of the unit, okay, and circulating it just right up through here, and then back through and it filters back through the grain bed. So what you'll see is it looks when we say it's turbid and it's very cloudy. It will be until that grain bed is really going to start to settle over some time. After probably about 15 or 20 minutes, it'll start to settle, and that wort should be much clearer. Coming out. So.
And the wort, is it wort or wart?
It's wort. You can pronounce it. It's a thing with beer.
Potato?
It's a thing with beer. There's lots of different pronunciations of the same thing. So you say wort, you can say wort. I just tend to go with the lazy pronunciation, which is quicker to say. So I like wort.
The wort or wort is what you get after this mash process where you're mashing in, right? The wort is like a concentrated, very sweet. It almost tastes like cereal milk in some brews, right? And that's what you then. So from there, you add what to it? You add water to it to create volume, or how do you get the volume?
Okay, so what there's calculators that figure this all out for you. So we start with the mash water. So we have that set. We mash the grains in. When we're done with the mash, they pull it out. Then we have another volume of sparge water that we're going to add. So we sparge and we rinse the grains out. When we're done adding all the sparge water, we should have our pre-boil volume. All right,
which for this, it will be how much?
6.53 gallons. Okay, and then we're going to boil
6 gallons of beer.
So we're going to boil it. We're going to boil it for 80 minutes in this recipe. So that should reduce down. We should be getting, after we have losses from the piping and other things in there, we should be getting 5 gallons of wort into our fermenter.
And so and what will the final yield be? How much beer will we have?
It'll be 5 gallons.
5 gallons.
Yeah, 5 gallon batch. Just pretty standard.
We can walk out of here when this is done with a milk jug full of delicious Sierra Nevada IPA.
One for you, one for me.
Yeah, right.
Maybe one for you.
3 less. Man, is it illegal to ship beer? It's not illegal to ship beer, right? Could we give away a gallon to somebody?
No.
No. Sorry, I tried.
Yeah, as a homebrewer, permitted to, I think, give out any samples are limited to 3.5 ounces per person per day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good to know. Now you know. There you go.
Yeah. So we're a little bit. It's like this is a little bit faster.
Well, I bet if you're in the Sarasota Bradenton area, you order some homebrew supplies. Maybe you can pop in and pick them up, and he'll give you one of these beers. Maybe give you a nice
We will
delicious
have
beer.
samples on tap when it is ready to go. Let's see our green.
This is really, I think this is really cool. It's really one of the neatest things I've heard of in a long time is Sierra Nevada doing this.
Oh yeah,
you know?
super cool.
Because I don't know, how many breweries are participating? Do you have any idea?
Over 1,000.
Over 1,000 breweries.
Over 1,000.
Doing this and donating proceeds. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, you can go to their website and you can see all the breweries around the entire country who are participating, and you can go to those breweries and try a pint of that beer, and it should be the same recipe, right, for every single.
Yes,
it should be the exact same.
It was it was given out on there. All of the big grain suppliers, malt suppliers, and hop suppliers all donated the raw materials, and the brewers donated the labor, obviously, for all that, and then the proceeds will go to the relief fund, which is really super cool. So we're getting a little bit too much work on the top, so I'm just throttling back the pump a little bit to help that drain a little faster. And so once the grain bed gets settled, it tends to be a little bit better of a flow through it. So, and we just sit and wait.
So how long does this take?
60 minutes.
60
Well, we have 56 minutes left. So you see here, we're back down to, we started at, we mashed in at a higher temperature because the grains are cooler, and it's going to knock the temperature down. So to keep it in the right range, you always have your strike water is hotter than what you want to have at your mash. And there's all calculators to figure that stuff out online.
Well,
so we're exactly at our temperature, which is good.
I imagine while the Grainfather is doing its job, this video could become very boring unless we find something really interesting and exciting to do. If we had another little person, we could do chicken fights.
Chicken fights?
Yeah. Well, she's not a little person.
Oh my God.
Little-ish. I'm little-ish. I'm kind of a little person. I've been called a dwarf many times. And I'm okay with it. Right. You're not offended, are you? I didn't offend you, did you?
No, I'm good.
She's cool.
I'm a tiny.
She can take
tiny
a punch
human.
too. Let me tell you. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. She can give one though. So, all right. So maybe we'll end this video. We'll keep it nice and short.
Yeah, we come back when we get ready for the boil or sparge.
Yeah.
So that'll
we could do that.
be pretty thrilling.
Yeah. So we will have another YouTube live video coming up here shortly, and we'll, it's all said and done. We'll call that part 2 of this Sierra Nevada Resilience IPA brew with Beer and Sunshine. Susie, Tommy, JW. See you in a few.
Yeah.
It's funny, I don't know how to stop it.